even just from like we might draw some coverage, or maybe a safety starts shading his direction and allows Garrett to get open. I think that is a justified, worthy impact as well. And as far as Breece looking kind of off, he did look kind of off through the entirety of the first 5 weeks of the season. Yesterday felt a little bit closer to home. I think maybe playing the Bills defense does help that to some degree. But I think having Moses back in there and him feeling maybe a little more confident was helpful as well. Remember, Olu Fashanu is just not the run blocker that Moses is. And I think that was, on display to some degree last night. Matt, your thoughts?
He had 170 all-purpose yards in this game. 113 on the ground, 56. So 169. I rounded up. But the only thing that you could maybe get him on is on that long run. Maybe he should have scored, lower the shoulder and try to get in the end zone instead of making the move. But I feel like that's pretty nitpicky on a guy who went for 170.
100%. Green Bean, do you think David is being a little nitpicky, or maybe, I guess let's shift it, because I think last night's probably not the game to necessarily nitpick over. Do you think Breece has seemed off this season, and do you think we're now trending in the right direction?
Well, let's remember, David, that we changed the blocking scheme this year, and we changed the personnel this year. And now we just changed the offensive coordinator 5 games into the season. So there's a lot there. That said, I do think Breece looks different. It's weird because when he's looking good, he looks thin to me. When he's looking off, he looks fat. And I was saying it last night, and it's real. I'm like, he looks fat on that play. And then he's running down the sideline. I'm like, hey, he looks like he lost weight. I don't know what that is. But yeah, I think he looks a little bit less decisive. Don't forget, last 2 years, he played in the same exact blocking system, right? Mm-hmm. Now, granted, the offensive line wasn't all that great. Lots of different players and all that was a part of it. But he was very comfortable in that system. And now we changed it. And they vacillate back and forth between the two schemes, but at the same time, he looks less decisive because he probably is less decisive. He's not just feeling it and kind of flowing, he's thinking. And that's what it looks like. There were a couple plays, whether it was the Vikings or the Broncos, I think it was the Vikings game, where he ran into the ass of his offensive lineman. And if he'd using the vision that we know he has to the right, granted he's supposed to run there, but the right was wide open. He could have got 3, 4, 5 yards by just a little cut to the right, and he would have got some yardage, but he didn't. And he kept trucking into the ass of, I think it was Jonathan Simpson. And it's just, that's not Breece. So I don't know what that really is. I think it's probably more to do with all the changes, and guys need a minute to really flow in it. Over all of a sudden, Breece Hall sucks. That's harder. That's a longer leap for me that he sucks. Now, you didn't say that. You said he look a little off. So I think he looks a little off. Last night was a different game. He looked good even on some of the plays where he didn't get much yardage. He was running harder, chopping his legs, those types of things. So I think we'll see Breece settle in. Don't forget last year, too, the first half of the season, he was sharing time with Michael Carter, was our third down back. Dalvin Cook. They were force feeding him into the game for whatever reason. And so it wasn't until mid to late season that he really started to do anything that was consistent. So, Breece Hall is Breece Hall. I'm not real worried about him. I think the offensive line getting comfortable and gelling, and Breece Hall getting comfortable in the system. And, don't forget to smart game planning. When you run on first and second down on most drives, it's a disadvantage for the running game. They know it's coming. They're just stacking the box, and we see it. There are so many times, we do the live stream, as you know, and we're watching, and we're like, there's 9 guys in the box. And watch, they're going to run into it. And they do. And it's just so having that ability to kind of use intelligence to plan the game and is also good. And not for nothing, they ran more out of 11 personnel last night, which is when you bunch everybody up and you put in your 12 personnel. If your tight ends don't really get their blocks, then there's no having that package doesn't do anything positive for you. Spread them all out and run out of it. And that's what we saw a lot more last night. And Breece seems to do well when he's got some space. It's when you try to run him into that bunched up pile, 8, 9 in the box and a 12 personnel. There's nowhere to go. And he hasn't been doing well with that. So I'm still hopeful for Breece Hall, guys. I really am.
Green Bean, you said something at the beginning there that I thought I'd bring up. You said you thought that Breece Hall was thinking too much. Thinking's overrated.
It is. It's not. It really is. You just sometimes, like our wonderful owner and brilliant general manager said today, you just got to go your gut sometimes.
What's up, guys? Matt O'Leary from Talkin' Jets. If you liked that video, please make sure to subscribe and follow for more New York Jets content.